what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Street Circle Drive here on The Mesh, the Hickory-focused podcast that we hope all the locals will listen to, as well as the people that want to be locals. We are again here on themesh.tv. Be sure to check out our website for more information about us, and you can find us on all sorts of social media. And, of course, on iTunes. We are a featured provider on the network, and we have lots of different shows that you're going to like. Check them out. Foot Candle Films, Film Review. We've got Entrepreneur Exchange. We have Caregiver Community, Chick Chat. Fantasy Football is back in session, so Fantasy Formula is back on the Mesh as well. Something for everybody. But for now, we hope you want to hear about Hickory, because that's what we're here to talk about.
That's
How's
right.
it going?
Hickory Centric. How's
Yeah.
it going? Circle Street.
I've got Moose and McNally here. I'm Mary Margaret, and Moose has a special announcement for the day.
I do. Our podcast, Street Circle Drive, has a new sponsor. Street Circle Drive is now sponsored by the Sock Factory. Made locally here in Hickory since 1975, the Sock Factory has 3 lines of socks. Crazy Compression, which is a compression sock that is geared toward folks that are on their feet all day, nurses, runners, et cetera, et cetera. William Tucker is the second line, their fine men's sock line. And they also have just acquired Fit Sock. They come in 3 packs, crazy colors, not to be confused with Crazy Compression, but there's some great folks. You can catch all of them. You can buy all their socks online at thesockfactory.com, and we're excited about having them involved. And please go check them out and go buy a bunch of socks from Nate and Mike the Banks boys.
Yeah, we love those guys. Sock Factory does some great work. Moose is rocking some of their socks right now.
I am.
And sneaky underneath these boots I have on, I have little ankle compression socks from our friends over there too. So you can't see them because they're hot pink and purple. Don't match what I have on. But thanks to the Sock Factory for sponsoring Street Circle Drive. Now,
I need to get some of those socks.
I think you need to. I think you need to check them out. They are amazing.
The McNally brand would be a really cool version. I'm just throwing it out there in the universe.
Well, you're going to have to try them out first and become a big
we
fan.
can do that.
And then they'll...
I like
then
socks.
Yeah, they're good stuff. Good stuff. But now that you've taken the mic, why don't you kick off the show? No, tell us what we got going on today in the world of Hickory conversation.
Well, one thing that we want to talk about, of course, this being the 3rd show, we've talked about back to school. We've talked about the bond referendum and all the exciting projects and development that's coming out of those initiatives. And one thing we want to talk about here is, industry manufacturing. It's always at the forefront, whether that's on a national scale, a global scale. And, here in Hickory and in the surrounding areas, we have a steep tradition in manufacturing. When you travel other places and you say, you're from Hickory, one of the first images, one of the first things people think of is...
Furniture.
It's almost always at the tip of tongue, even if they have no idea where Hickory is. It is one of those things that's been ingrained, and people know that we are well adept in creating fine furniture here in Hickory. A lot of people here in Hickory alone forget we still have a ton of furniture, and not only that, we have just been constantly adding to our portfolio of different industries and sectors that we have here. A lot of people don't know we have such a strong fiber optic cable. Textiles was, and a lot of people think, furniture and textiles, those are gone. They're still very strong. Have they changed? Yes, just like many other industries have changed and evolved, but they are still here, strong as ever. And I always use the analogy when talking about even workforce development and people driving by some of these warehouses and buildings, and they might not see a sign on it. It might not look necessarily like an inhabitable building.
We got a lot of those around town.
There are a lot of them, but I will say most of those have stuff going on inside of there. And our guest today, we can even talk more about that. But the ones that do look habitable, they might not have a half-eaten apple or a swoosh on the outside where people know or they think they know what's going on. They don't have that consumable good when you know directly what a company makes. But they might not know that they are driving by these buildings in a car where 24 parts in that car were made here in Hickory area, Catawba County. And I always thought that is a great way to kind of tie it home. Like, we don't know what's going on in these buildings. We don't know all the companies are here. I mean, I know people are always surprised when I say, guess how many manufacturing firms we have in our county, Catawba County.
I don't know. How many do we have?
I don't know an exact count, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you for a fact it's over like 400, 425. I mean, it is a large number when you think of a county our size, our population, that traditional manufacturing evolving into advanced manufacturing. So who better to bring on to talk about what all is going on here in our community, in our area, especially in the way of industry, manufacturing, business, than our very own Nathan Huret, who is the Director of Existing Industry for the Catawba County Economic Development Corporation. Nathan.
Yay!
Welcome to
I was
StreetCircleDrive.
expecting clapping, but I wasn't sure I was going to
But you didn't want to really expect
You got it, man.
We didn't have to can that in or anything.
I was kind of looking over at Moose and going, well, is he going to do it or not?
I think I deserve some clapping.
Gotcha.
Pity applause is always welcome. I appreciate the introduction. So
no,
happy to
absolutely.
be here. Happy to talk a little bit about the local economy, local companies.
And we appreciate you
Absolutely.
taking the time to be with us. So talk a little real briefly about your role, because I think when a lot of people talk about or think about economic development, obviously the headline grabbers are XYZ company is moving to this community, they're bringing this much investment, this many jobs. But something that's always, under the radar, 80% of the jobs are created or more by the companies that you already have in existence in your backyard. So talk a little bit about kind of your role and what you do on a regular basis for our county.
Yeah, that's a great kind of summary of it. You often think, and I know we get calls, or when I'm out in the community, it's the newspaper headlines. It's the Apples, it's the Targets, it's those huge announcements, someone coming in new to the community, which you need, which is great. It brings new opportunities, new life. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that supported this economy, have been around for decades, family-owned companies, and that's what really sustains us day to day. And so my role is centrally my responsibility is to those folks. As we said, they've got us to this dance. We're going to dance with them. And so I focus almost my entire job on their issues. So I'm constantly interacting, communicating with, going out to the companies that call this community home and finding out, goods and bads. Are you growing? Are you potentially dying? Do we need to have something around workforce? I'm trying to find out their needs at any point that I can offer solutions, get out of their way potentially. Sometimes that's the best thing, is just to let these people go. And like Sock Factory, I may talk to those folks maybe every 2 or 3 years. The best thing for them is me to stay out of the way and know I exist and know they can call me up and say, okay, we're trying to grow. We're trying to get into this new market. We don't know what to do. The basic idea is there's a lot of resources, a lot of things out there that these folks are so focused on keeping the lights on, keeping people employed. Things come up external to what they do, and they then have to go outside. They then have to interact with SID. They have to interact with the state, North Carolina Department of Transportation. It's not their job to know who to contact for this, for that. So the thought is, call Nathan, email him. I'm supposed to have that level of interaction and relationship with them that you take my problem. They may spend a week on something. That's a week away from trying to get something out the door, trying to sell that product, find a new customer. It may take me 30 minutes. So that time savings is hopefully, like I said, keeping those lights on, keeping those people employed, and growing. So that's the basic principle, but we put a lot of focus on that. And really a lot of the growth is from our existing companies. It's not as heralded sometimes, and it's kind of maybe on page 8 A11 of the Hickory Daily Record or Observer News Enterprise, but they're growing right now. We're in a great booming time. It's creates other issues, but those are good issues I'd much rather face than, a depression or recession as we've gone through in some of the darkest times of, let's say, 2008 and 9, which was difficult. So I hope that sheds a little bit of light on it.
It certainly does.
Absolutely. I'm always kind of excited whenever I'm out. Obviously, this is not our full-time job, shocker. But whenever we're out and we are working with clients in the area and come across buildings, like Michael was saying, these buildings that are just, you kind of have driven by all the time and you're like, I don't really know what's in there. And then we end up, our GPS takes us there and I'm like, oh, no.
If your GPS doesn't get you lost on Circle Street, StreetCircleDrive.
StreetCircleDrive, yes. But I always learn something new that's in the area. And so just to kind of have that understanding that we have, what makes our area appealing to these international companies that we have here. I know we have a pretty large
definitely.
Breadth of different types of international companies that are setting up shop here. And for example, I was in one of these yesterday, actually. Okay. And I mean, there was literally people walking up and down the hallway speaking German to each other because it's just, there's so many of them in there that they've brought in to work here.
Yeah.
So why here? Why this area?
That's a great question. If I had to boil it down, it goes a little bit to that kind of the Hickory well-crafted, that crafting, making things. That's what we've done. That's the the kind of historical side of what you said is, we've known for furniture and textiles and some other things. I've diversified that through time, but we've supported that and doubled down on that. So you may have other communities across the United States. Manufacturing has its ups and downs. You cannot deny that. It can be very cyclical. But at the same time, a lot of communities have said, all right, I don't want that. I don't want to support that. I want office jobs. I want white collar. I want pharmaceutical R&D happening. But that's our roots are established in that. We have to make the arguments. My boss, Scott Millar, will always say we have to make arguments that make sense. Unfortunately, we're not. You're not going to see a lot of white lab coats walking around like we're Research Triangle Park. But if you want to make a product, make it well, make it high quality, get it to your customers, potentially quickly around the world, we can make that argument very, very well. And we prove it over time. So you gave kind of the German case. One, given the culture, there's a lot of Lutheran churches here, right? There's more in Claremont where I live than my hometown growing up, much larger. Part of that's just, it's been proven. Sarsted, there's Klingspor. You just go down through the list of names. It's the Burger King and McDonald's. Burger King goes there, McDonald's is going to show up pretty quick because it's been a proven market. And so once you start getting this large, swath of companies coming in international, they go, okay, they've already done it. They've been there for 30 or 40 years. They've already got the kinks worked out and the bugs worked out. We can plug in and come a little bit further along. And I mean, it's really kind of along those lines, but we sell, we make things. I mean, that's our bread and butter. That's what we're going to stay true to. That's where we've built these support systems. You probably talked about, I think, I listened to some of the podcasts earlier today.
Hey.
Just to jog my memory. You got into the workforce side. It's you get into the CT, the apprenticeship Catawba. You get into, which is built around this German model. So that speaks to them. You get into the manufacturing academy, the furniture academy, all these support mechanisms we've built or building to support that. So we're not shying away from it. And if everyone else shies away from it, and you're the lone voice out there saying, "Come here, we're doing this stuff, and we're going to support you," you're going to stand out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I never really
we still have a large concentration relative to the rest of the country as far as manufacturing labor. We're 20.
I think we're about
25. Yeah, 25% of our
We've been
workforce
upwards of 50 before.
Is in manufacturing. National average is probably half that.
I think it's
12 to
9 in the
not even, okay.
national and maybe 12 at the state level. I can't remember.
So it's a good sign. We of course we want to be diversified not only in our workforce base but within those sectors. So I think that's, like Nathan said, it's known. It's a known entity here that we are.
That's a big focus. Really, if you go back to the inception of where I worked, the EDC, late 1970s, it kind of had a dual purpose. At that point, the economy was humming. Low unemployment, jobs were pretty plentiful. It was to really bring in tax base first, so we could kind of keep our taxes low and keep everybody as happy as we could from your house to your company. And then the other side of that was to diversify it, to get in. We're putting a lot in furniture, we're putting a lot in textiles. Thankfully, we still got those, and those are really cool, and I could talk some about those after a little bit, the things that are going on within those particular industries. But it was to get into things like automotive, into plastics, and, just other spectrums along that 400-plus companies you kind of mentioned. We want to best weather those cycles like I mentioned. And the best way to do that is to, put a little bit of eggs in this and a little of that and a little of that, and then also, make sure we're that other 75% of the workforce, we are attuned to the changing needs of them as well.
So do we, I mean this in a hopefully positive way, but do we have room to keep growing more of this? I don't know what's necessary in this type of field, and when you're bringing in these type of, especially maybe international ones, but some of the stuff that, do we have room for more? Can they still keep going?
And I'll parlay that. Do we also have the number of skilled workers to fill those jobs?
Okay, it's really. I was going to answer it the same to both of those.
I agree.
Two birds, one stone kind of thing. The two biggest issues we face, at least as our organization, and not the entire community. There's we've got things here and there we need to work on, but the two biggest things we face on a daily basis, as far as either working with existing companies or bringing in new companies, it's the two P's, as we say. It's people and product or place. Product meaning it's the real estate side. A lot of what we do relies upon real estate. We do have a lot of those older buildings. Unfortunately, in some cases we've had this cool really redevelopment, holler hosiery and transportation inside. We're making use of what we can there, but a large bulk of what's in the community, it's tough to use for that German manufacturing. Some of their facilities are off. They're just amazing. You could eat off the floor with it. It's like clean room type stuff. That's really hard when you've been through some of these buildings and it's dark and there's issues with the roofing, and that's hard to sell. So that's one issue we're really putting a lot of horsepower behind right now is the having something they can look at, see, touch, walk through, that they go, this can work. We can make this work quickly within their timelines. That's one part of the equation. The other part of the equation is people. And this is not just us. This is kind of, in my opinion, a national issue. Great thing. The economy's doing awesome. 4% unemployment. But that, like I said that earlier, this creates an issue. If you're growing, and it doesn't matter, honestly, what you do, from manufacturing to some of our higher end technical jobs to everybody's hiring right now. That's awesome. That's what you want. Wages are going up. I'm getting asked all the time for, kind of wage surveys for what's going on. Good things are happening, but gosh, it's hard to find. You want a perfect person to walk in day one. That person that says, I've got these skills. Boom, 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 boom. Ticks them all off. You're good. Hire, go work, produce, do whatever. It's getting really, really hard to find that. So we're doing our best to grow that. At the scale of that, the time involved. I mentioned the Manufacturing Academy before. That's a 10-week program. It's kind of a 101, 201 level course, if you can imagine, for manufacturing. You've got an interest, but you don't know much about it. That gets you to a really good first day hire. That's 10 weeks. which is about the shortest span you can get right now.
Absolutely.
You know, and the companies really got behind that and helped design that because that's the shortest turnaround I can think of where you get someone that's better along than otherwise. But apprenticeship, Catawba, you're talking
years.
That's 3 or 4 years. You're talking some of these other programs. It takes a long time to do that. We're supplementing it. I don't know when this is going to drop, as they say. Probably way after the fact. But one market we're recruiting heavily from is the military. We've got an event coming up actually preceding your Foot Candle Film Festival at no,
thank you for the plug.
I can cross that off my events.
You need to do a better job than I just did with it. But the 15th through the 17th, we've actually are hosting 50 transitioning vets. So folks coming out, we'll say 6 months. These folks are just off the chart skills. They're loyal. They're going to show up. I mean, part of the issue with what we're talking about is people don't show up and be there on day 2, let alone, further along. But the skill side, the soft skills, and they have families. I don't know if you've brought it up on this podcast or a previous podcast, but the population side, we need to grow. We need to grow faster than we ever have. And we got to be bringing people in. We've got to be doing everything to make that happen. And this is a market. So we're having 50 vets and their families come in. And we're putting them up, more or less, hotel, getting their transportation. The companies have sponsored this. So we've got roughly about 20 companies that have said, we need help. We need help now. We want those great folks coming out. Spouses are coming out potentially as
doing
employees.
Great tours and shows.
Yeah. So it's kind of, we're selling our best asset is the community.
Yeah.
Easily the best asset. Jobs you can get anywhere at this point. It's the community that we think marries well with the folks coming out. So it's going to be a community tour. I mean, they're going to go to the distillery. They're going to go to the breweries. We're going to go to a Crawdad Stadium, and people do batting practice out there. So we're doing the community sandwiched with a hiring event on that Saturday, the 16th.
That's
so
awesome.
We're really putting a lot of horsepower around that people side. It just it takes time.
Yeah. But, it's just like filling any pipeline within any job. The more you fill up that pipeline, it's going to start paying off the further along it goes. It may take a little while, but you've got to be in the process if you want to ever get there. And so as long as we're in a community that thinks that way, I think we're very lucky to be on the process and understanding of that.
The veterans thing I just mentioned, that's just one weekend.
Yeah.
But we're going to do that multiple times a year.
Right.
We're going to start, and the best thing about that, you hear the term band of brothers or, sisterhood of whatever. I don't know what they call it on the Marine or sorry. I know, I about went there.
Okay.
I stayed away from that movie.
Sorority girls?
I about went there. Yeah. But they talk. They're so interconnected that if we can build that reputation for it, great community, supportive, there's lots of stuff, family environment, it's just going to go back to Fort Bragg. It's just going to go back to Camp Lejeune, and on and on.
And beyond.
Yeah. You get that flow of a river coming here. That's a great thing.
Absolutely.
So, with all that said, Nathan, what do you think if you could put your finger on one thing, just on one thing, and you could wave your magic EDC wand and make it happen, what would it be?
We have one. We don't use it.
You don't have it?
Yeah, we have one.
Right. Is it skilled workforce? Is it just magically creating easements for these companies to come in, or is it just being inside this, and not knowing outside, is it filling jobs immediately? Is that what you're looking to do? Or
I think I'm not originally from here. I moved here from Tennessee. Been here about 10 years. I think one thing I've always really admired about this community is it doesn't sit still, and it fights like the Dickens to, if it sees something going the wrong way, we're going to put a lot of force behind, solving it, getting it better. The answer to that now, and I don't know if I would have said this probably 2 years ago or 3 years ago, is we have to do it all.
That wasn't what he asked for. He asked for one.
I wonder
Come
which
on.
one is your
Technically,
magic
it's one.
wand, man.
All is a one.
Answer D, all the above.
Right.
That's like saying you have 3 wishes and you use the first one to say, I want infinite wishes.
I want all the wishes.
Oh, of course, the smartest person to do that.
That's right.
But you have to do things like City Walk. You have to do things like military recruitment. You have to do things like K-64. Anymore, it's got to be a total package. You got to do things like looking at what's the housing stock like here? If people move to, are there houses available for them in their price range? We have to do all of that. And the toughest part is it's time and resources that you're now stretching, in this direction and that. But you got to do it. I mean, that's a
And it's still risk.
terrible cop out of not answering directly. But you've got to have the buildings. You've got to have the people. You got to. All those things, or it won't work at this stage in the world. Yeah.
What's the rough estimate of open job positions right now in Catawba County?
I think the last I looked, NC Works, which is kind of the statewide agency, I think for the month of July or August, it was roughly 4,000 in a month that was open. I think.
And what does that include? I mean, is that everything from McDonald's to
correct
to VPs?
Power from McDonald's.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. At some point in that month, 4,000 jobs went through their system that were open.
Yeah.
Now, that's not any one day necessarily.
Of course, right.
But, yes, that's, like you said, that's everything from McDonald's on up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's very substantial.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the comparison is to other communities of this size.
Don't know.
If that's good or bad or ugly, I mean, 4,000 to me, it's kind of like I'm torn on that. Yay, that means we have
It's
lots
tough
of
to know
stuff
if
that
you're
people could
relative
go
to
and get a
whatever
job. There's 4,000 people out there that could go get a job. Obviously, it doesn't work that way. But it also kind of means, well, it's not 10,000. I don't know what the happy medium is.
We kind of get asked that number a good bit. But as you just point out, it's a tough one to really gauge how good or bad you're at.
Right.
Unless you really start going the whole scope of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're using it when we did some ads through Facebook, down on the military bases. We're using it because we're hopeful. 4,000 sounds like, man, there's got to be a lot of diversity and variety within that. I should be able to 4,000. I should be able to find one that fits me.
Right.
So we're using it there in a hopefully a positive way, but it's without having it in front of me and kind of digging through it. I don't know if that's good or bad necessarily. It means we have a lot of, in my opinion, 4,000 jobs is opportunity. Exactly.
Opportunity.
Yep.
I think it's real exciting. I mean, when you sit down and think about, like I said, when we hear or we visit these places as clients of ours, we learn something new every time. I gave the example earlier off the air about a company in Hildebrand that manufactures recycled foam, essentially, foam and insulative type
Blue
stuff.
jeans.
Blue jeans turned into that.
Yep.
And they sell, it's like something like $2 worth, so which is a tiny square, to Tesla for every single Tesla that's made. So
Every $100,000 Tesla.
Exactly. Every fancy pants Tesla that's out there has a piece of Hildebrand in it. And I mean, every single one, they have to have it through there.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think that stuff's kind of neat. And, Technobuilt providing the
Anybody listening today, if they go to shop today and they grab a buggy, as we say down
buggy,
here,
yes.
odds are it's Technobuilt. And you can see the little band right there on the leg.
Yeah, shopping carts made right here, and it's for the biggest shopping centers, as you said, in the country. So it's just things like that amaze us, and I think a lot of people don't quite understand that we have some big boys playing in the area, and
definitely.
And it's exciting whenever you were talking about how it's like the McDonald's and Burger King, or in Hickory, I'd like to refer to it as the Rite Aid and Walgreens. But, everywhere there's a Walgreens, there's a CVS and there's a Rite Aid or whatever it may be. And so if we already have some of these good ones, then maybe there's hope that it's going to keep going that way. And at least we have the groundwork laid for having these really good businesses here. So
no, absolutely. And and one of the things that's always important is to elevate the profile of manufacturing. Like you sit here and talk about those cool things that are being made here, and some of these companies that are located here. You talk about the workforce need. Well, we need to talk about these companies like they are our neighbors. I mean, we're using their products, and we are their future workforce. We are the places where they choose to live. We need everybody appreciating it and kind of elevating that profile, because we talk about existing industry and who's here, but one of the things that Nathan works on a regular basis is making sure we get past all of their problems that they may or may not have. But we talked about the splashy headline. Well, there's 3,144 counties, parishes in the United States. Any one of our companies could be one of their splashy headlines, and so we want to make sure they're here and they're happy and they're growing.
Treat them nice.
That's definitely you want to keep them happy. That's another side of it I don't know if I necessarily hit on. I have the coolest job. I mean, kind of what you all touched on. I moved here. This was my first tried and true real job out of grad school. Got thrown in to start interacting, go out there and meet with these folks, and it's just the coolest thing, because behind those brick facades with maybe a sign or something on the outside that says nothing about what they do,
but it's in German, right? You can't
German.
read it.
Maybe in German, yes, but then you get to see it's kind of from the ground up, or how it interacts with your life. We were talking off air about the iTunes, everything. Every time I buy an app, it's going through Made in North Carolina. Every single one, potentially across the world, is traveling through Made in North Carolina.
Which is
so
10
cool.
minutes from Hickory.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah. You can see them from 321, which I think is neat.
Yeah. Solar. But then you go through things like, gosh, you got carpet in this room. I bet you that there's a potential someone made the carpet batting underneath it. That's potentially local to here.
Right. Yeah.
Or on the underside of your chair right now, there's non-woven material.
Yeah.
Or, the fact that the thing that made the iTunes transaction possible, the fiber that went there through my Verizon provider, that was probably made through a Corning or a Prysmian or who name it. Yeah. These companies. It's just, it's so kind of far removed, but all this stuff is just made here, and a lot of it is exported now, which is kind of unique. I'll go out to furniture and I'll ask them, where's your customer base? Is it someone down in Michigan or wherever? And they'll say, well, we just sent someone, $2 million to a huge palatial estate in Riyadh. I'm like, okay, that's all.
Cool.
How did you get there?
Don't even know where that is.
We're going, just the chic of whatever. It just bought $2 million, and you go, that's awesome that they've got your Century furniture or you name it just sitting there now, and it's like that was made here. So it's pervasive. When I see it all the time. It's kind of my warning lights go off and I know that was there. Or, that BMW's got something made by Carolina Nonwovens, kind of the jean material you're talking about, or Dalco Nonwovens, and it's here. It's usually components or parts potentially that you just don't have their label. The Made in Hildebrand example, being perfect. So
all roads lead to Catawba County.
I'm okay with that.
I am too.
I'm okay with that. We have said for a long time what big fans we are of this area, obviously, because all three of us came back, which is funny. Nathan's the newbie of the group, but it just goes to show. I will never forget whenever Moose and I both came back to Hickory. We came back at different times, but both arrived back around the same time, to where one of the first times that we hung out after arriving back here, Moose said, man, Hickory's like a vortex, isn't it? Just sucks you back in,
The Godfather. You can't get out of the family.
It was...
Oh, my wife's moved here 4 times.
Right, exactly.
She moved here.
True.
She left. We met, came back. We moved. She came back, and this is the last time we're moving to Hickory. We're done.
Right. You better bury me here. Yeah. That's all there is to it. It's
pretty amazing.
Yeah, so there is just something about it, and...
Key to the city?
You get
4 times you get a key.
When we started dating, she told me she was the unofficial
Talk to Mayor Klein about it.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you being here today, and hopefully you'll stick around and listen to the rest of the show with us and partake in it, because everything, as Moose said, leads back to Catawba County and, of course, into Hickory, and we're happy to spread the good word, if you will, of what you guys are doing over at the EDC.
Appreciate it. Any time.
Yeah. Great. Well, not only do we have cool manufacturing groups and products being made here and, people in the studio, we have cool things going on in Hickory, too.
I see what you did there.
Hey, segue.
Segue right into our events section of the Street Circle Drive podcast. I just have a couple of events coming up that we'd like to spotlight today. First of all, Nathan kind of touched on it before, but the Foot Candle Film Festival coming up September 22nd through the 24th here at the beautiful Salt Block in Hickory. We're going to have directors and bringing their own movies to our area to be seen over that weekend at the Salt Block at the General Auditorium. And there's a lot of festivities that are going around about that. You can check out their podcast here on this network, The Mesh, Foot Candle Film. What is the actual name of that?
The Foot Candle Film Festival?
No, the Foot Candle, our podcast, the Foot Candle Podcast.
Foot Candle Films.
Foot Candle Film Podcast, okay.
Foot Candle Films.
Foot Candle Films.
Move along.
Period.
That's it.
Full stop. Full stop. Gotcha. Putting up what you're putting down. Some other events that are coming to our area at the Hickory Metro Convention Center and Visitors Bureau. I'm really excited about this. October 7th, the USPA Hickory Classic. Does anyone know what that is? Ready for this? It's a powerlifting tournament, y'all.
Nuh-uh.
Powerlifting.
Where?
Some grunts straight up at the convention center.
Really?
Hey.
October 7th. Go see some large human beings put up some weight.
Participating?
I am not participating in that.
He looks like he could, though, doesn't he?
I was disallowed due to some rolling issues.
Well, just,
Doping issues.
Doping.
It's the first thing I think when I look at you, Nathan.
Should.
Straight up power lifter.
I had a client last year that needed some footage shot in a gym of theirs. And I witnessed a gentleman deadlifting 672 pounds on his lunch break.
He was veiny.
Okay? Yeah.
He's veiny.
I thought his eyeballs were going to explode out of his head. But you know what? He put it down and then went back and got his clothes on for work and went back over to work. And I was like,
Wow.
What? You just did this on your lunch break. I mean, it was amazing. Jaw was on the floor the whole time. How in the world are you doing this? And boy, it's just a deadlift. It's just standing up. That's all it is.
McNally, what's your favorite comic book character?
Oh, comic book.
Wow.
I mean, I guess I got a good superhero style.
Sure.
I was always a Spider-Man guy growing up.
Oh, well, you can put your Spider-Man leotard on and go to the Hickory Convention Center on September 30th.
How'd you know?
Go to the Hickory Comic-Con.
He's already got
coming
his
up.
tickets. Wait.
Hickory,
For real?
yeah, the Hickory Comic-Con's coming up September 30th at the Convention Center. Mark your calendars. I think also might have a gun show going on at the same time. So.
Wait. Can the three of us go dressed as something?
Absolutely.
Gosh.
Can we go as the Harry Potter people, kids?
I don't know. I think Moose should be Captain Underpants.
How dare you?
La, la, la. We have kids, so we get
Yes,
that.
you know
Right?
it.
Moose is like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No kids club. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, read a book.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, read one of those books. Hey, don't worry. He reads at a second grade level.
Yeah, that's right. I got it covered. So, moving right along, some music events going on in our area. The Sales Series is back every Friday in September downtown underneath the Sales. Bob Sinclair puts on a great series, invites some great talent into our area. This Friday night, September 8th, Big Sandy and his Fly Right Boys. They're from Los Angeles. They're a rockabilly group. They're going to grace us with their presence. September 15th, Alexa Rose. She's a folk and Americana singer. She's going to be there. September 22nd, Mile 12, which they consider themselves chambergrass darlings. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but we're just going to let them have that one. September 29th, Adam Levy. He's the singer-songwriter. He's going to be in. Also going on once a month at the Holler Mill, the Music in the Mill series. This month, September 15th, Mike Ryan and also Hickory superstar Casey Clark's going to be joining him. October the 20th, Leanne Womack is coming into town.
I saw that. I was impressed.
Hey.
Hey, and I've already got tickets to this event. Hurry up and get yours, because when I bought mine for the November 17th, the Wood Brothers and Sean McConnell, there was only 40 tickets left. So if you're going to go to that show, go ahead and act quickly. December 15th, the infamous String Dusters plus Danger Muffin, which is a great band. Danger Muffin, they're killer. Go check them out for sure. Also going on, Lauren Ryan, CVCC Sports. You can catch them on CVCCathletics.com, LRBears.com. Go check out their schedules. Go support your local university and college sports, high school sports going on. All that stuff, Friday Night Lights. Go check those boys out, too, because they're working hard.
I will be going tomorrow night. I will be attending the Fred T. Ford football game for alumni cheerleader night.
Nice! Holy cow.
Are they going to make you guys go out there and break out some?
I hope I get some video from that. Be aggressive.
Hey.
Be aggressive.
I might just be watching. So
Oh, that is such a cop-out.
I will be attending, though.
Okay.
Smile for pictures, pose the best of them. Might wear my husband's class ring on a gold chain around my neck. And
Nice. You guys going to make out on the
a
bleachers,
leather
maybe?
jacket. You know, we're going to have our kids with us.
Dampering that.
So I will be at the football game at Fred T. Ford tomorrow night, cheering on the Tigers. And then Saturday night, heading to Between the Bricks over at Morettsville for the Bears game at
Bears.
7 o'clock on Saturday night.
Excited about that.
Yeah. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
And go Redhawks.
And
over
go
at
Redhawks,
CC.
of course.
Yeah.
Volleyball, baseball, all those are getting ramping back up.
They're all at practice now.
They are. They are practicing right now.
Well, I know something else you guys can do this weekend.
I know where this
Maybe
is
not
going.
you. Maybe not you guys.
I'm not going.
Maybe Nathan. I'm sure McNally will because, well, let's be honest, you eat several meals a day.
I mean,
Yeah, how dare you
I
eat
would,
several
I
meals a
would
day,
like to point
McNally?
out, so do most people, Mary Margaret. I don't know where you were headed with
How is he
that.
not
I know.
singled into this?
I was thinking.
I just pile on, man.
Several meals
At
you
one
know,
sitting?
for one sitting,
Okay.
exactly. So it is time for our.
I heard the Sunnies. I heard about. Yeah, I heard all about that.
Sonny's
There
is
was-
great.
You've been there
There
before?
was some.
I have not.
Now you're going, aren't you?
I
You
was
want to
very
now,
interested.
don't you?
See there?
Yeah, Big Sunny, or what was the one you had?
the
Super Sun.
super.
Super Sunny. Sorry, didn't want to undersell that. Super Sunny.
Followed by the dark cloud.
Listen, we have been
with
going
me, kid.
around and enjoying ourselves at some Hickory institutions, as we like to call them. McNally enjoys himself a little too much sometimes, but today we had a great one. Again, we will go through everyone their recommendations in just a minute. However, I want to give you a little background because when we say Hickory Institution, this
one's
is what's shown in the dictionary as that. So we went to the snack bar.
Hey-o.
Snack bar on First Avenue, which we found out is celebrating its 70th anniversary.
Yeah.
Bravo, Snack Bar. Bravo. I mean, 70 years of anything is pretty awesome. And when to own a restaurant that long is pretty amazing.
If I ate
believe.
there every day, I would not make it 70 years.
No,
so.
don't think so. You got to be a little more select in your ordering as opposed to what I will be posting on social media later as to your order.
This side of the menu.
So just a quick little background so everybody understands if you have not been to the snack bar, their tagline is Hickory's finest home cooking. And that is exactly what
believe
it's
it.
like. Home cooking.
Yeah, that is.
Right.
That's exactly
home
what it is.
cooking.
You can defend that.
Yeah, they are open every day from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and you can order breakfast all day long. So
Bonus.
that's some good stuff. It was started by Rob Fry and Robert Butler, who that corner of First Avenue is called Rock Corner. Okay, it's kind of always been called that. And there used to be another restaurant there, which Mr. Fry, I believe, his dad owned it. And it served sandwiches and beer. So it was a good place. Already had a reputation as that area. And then, you know, the times changed and needs changed, if you will. Started a new restaurant, was the snack bar. Started in 1946 with the two owners deciding they were going to put $1,500 in each. Okay? So, you know, I mean, that's a lot of money for back then. Not a lot of money for now to start this. But they had 11 stools at the bar. and 2 tables and some chairs up to those 2 tables. And hence the snack bar was born.
Yeah.
Man, they have come a long way.
Yeah, so now it's actually expanded. The bar is still there on the left-hand side, the original bar over there, where you will find many a businessman in the area sitting on his lunch break. It amazes me the type of people that you see in the snack bar on any visit because there's such a wide range of everything. There are people that are getting off their shift and coming in and grabbing food. They maybe want breakfast at that time. There are men in suit and ties coming in that have been coming there since they were children and go sit at the bar by themselves or with their buddies. There's little old ladies sitting in there. And then there's the 3 of us acting like teenagers in there, ordering all kinds of food and giggling about it. So tell me what you had today, McNally.
Well, honestly, today I took it easy. Just so,
Yes.
contrary to the picture you'll send out. Whenever I think of the snack bar, I think of fried chicken.
Wow.
And let me just tell you,
Tell me about that chicken.
they know how to make some fried chicken. See, we've all had those experiences where you have fried chicken and it's just, it's not enough of the fry. Or, it's too much fry. Snack bar, perfect. Crispy, chicken is tender and juicy. The only problem is they only bring you 2 pieces.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say carpet on the floors.
No, that's, we get into some decor,
Talk about
but
what we ate today first.
but I could crush at least a couple birds in there with their fried chicken. It's awesome. And then, your typical meat and 3. It's hard for me to stray from I go real starchy when I go to snack bar. It's not really recommended on a regular basis. It's not a part of my diet, quote unquote. But fried chicken, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, fried okra. I got to go with meat and 3.
Yeah.
Not necessarily meat and
Now,
2, which is recommended.
The fried chicken, is that on the main menu? Or is that on the weekly, like the special of the day menu?
I have never not seen it on the menu. So
Okay.
Fried chicken is on the menu.
You can get
Okay.
it in, just white, all dark meat, all
Yes.
white meat, all sorts of varieties. But their fried chicken is just, it is awesome.
Yeah.
And again,
It looked like it when you were pulling those bones
not
out
for
of your
long.
mouth today.
Right. Well, I got to pick my teeth with something when I'm done. So I highly recommend that. And a shout out to my old colleague, Jean Pitts of the Chamber of Commerce, because every time I go there, I think about her going with her, and she will order a plate of the chicken livers, and she would eat half of them. And she'd always ask if I wanted some, and I would try one and douse it in A1 reluctantly, but and she would take half of them home to her dog, and I don't know how long that dog made it, but rest in peace, Jean's dog and the chicken liver diet. I wouldn't recommend that for our casual listener, but Lord, I would recommend the fried
If you
chicken.
like organ meat, there it is.
Well, so to explain a little bit about that menu, so there is a breakfast menu that they will put on your table, and you can order at any time. But you will get a lunch and dinner menu that has the standards on there. And then there's a little piece that's like paper clipped to the menu at the very top. And it's a piece of paper that they've printed off with their word processor. And it has it says up top, Thursday in quotes. And these are the things that they have in-house on Thursday. And that's when you can get like a meat, 2 veggies, or salad. They do have a salad bar available.
I heard.
You've seen that.
I've heard
never really
about said salad bar.
done the salad
Salad.
bar. But it is nice to be able to have your regular menu, and then depending on whatever day you're there, you get a little special something.
I've never looked at the regular menu. All the times I've been there.
Well,
Whatever's on
there
the
you
paper, trust it, folks.
I agree.
Legit.
I agree. Take the paper option. Yeah. Moose, what did you have today?
On McNally's advice, I went dark meat chicken. It was good. Drum and a thigh.
McNally had white meat chicken. You had dark meat
I
chicken.
had dark meat chicken.
My advice was just fried chicken.
Fried
Got
chicken,
it.
right. So he went white, I went dark. It was good. It's good fried chicken. Drumstick. I'm not going into it.
That's
Okay.
a stark
Okay.
difference there.
This is a positive podcast. So I like the fried chicken. It was great.
It's gone to great now.
It was. I have a lot of best friends too, according
Yes,
to
you
my
do.
co-host. So I like the fried chicken. It was good. The fried okra, good. Pinto beans, good. I like the snack bar. It's good. There's
Wow, I can't wait till they call you to be their next marketing director.
Y'all, it's just a lukewarm review, y'all. I'm sorry.
What's your stars out of 7?
It's 4 out of 7 for me today.
Whoa!
4 out of 7 today.
I don't even know who you are.
Wowzers. Gosh.
Hey, I'm sorry to be
How many
Debbie
times
Downer
have you
here.
been there? How many
Is that
times have you been
straight
there?
up
in your
food or
life?
overall?
It was just that's overall 4 out of 7.
Okay, good.
Now I'll tell you that Nathan's looking at me like 4 out of 7, 7, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering
This
the
is a
7
7
first.
scale, which is
That's
weird.
the
We can't go down that road.
Yeah,
We
the
don't
Street
have
Circle Drive rating system. It's out of 7.
Well, it makes about sense.
So
All right.
no, it's good. It was good food. However, I'm usually a breakfast guy there. I don't usually get the lunch foods. I'm usually there for breakfast. Breakfast, 12 out of 7. I love the breakfast. I just didn't feel like it today. I recommend fried eggs and grits and all that good stuff there. That's the way I go. But yeah, Mary Margaret, what'd you have and how'd you
I
like
stepped out my comfort zone because when I go there, I typically do get the grilled chicken, which is just that. It's a plate with a slab of grilled chicken on it and nothing else. That is on the regular menu. I do like the sides from the paper menu, so I try to go with that. But today I went with all paper menu, Thursday specials.
Living on the edge.
I went with the beef stew,
Stewed beef.
black-eyed peas,
Okay.
okra, and I always have to get a little side of the carrot salad. So, yeah. Carrot salad's so good.
It's good.
It's not
so
good.
good.
It's not good.
So good. Okay. The beef stew, fair warning out there to anyone who enjoys beef stew as much as I do. This was just beef.
Cubed.
It's stew beef. They got the verbiage wrong. It's definitely beef stew. It's not beef
less
stew.
stew.
It's stewed beef.
It's a lot less
It's stewed.
stew than beef.
There's more beef than stew. I
Yes,
think.
it's all.
But you know what it
Hashtag
was,
beef.
though? It was good.
Yeah, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, really, that's
Yeah.
what matters.
I really don't care what else was in
But
there.
it's a real
Pick
good,
and
not my like lukewarm
Yeah.
good.
Right. It was really
a little
good.
more energy there.
Yeah.
Yes. It was
Out
really
of,
good.
Out of 7, what do you think?
For just the beef?
Yeah, just the beef stew.
Oh, beef stew was a good 6.5 out of 7.
Right.
Don't give into this 7
Yes,
scale.
McNally,
please.
go to the light. Go to the light.
Just
Go to it.
I'm just trying to appease them and move on. So my black-eyed peas, pretty par for the course, good stuff.
Yeah.
However, the okra, on point. Fried okra.
Yeah, I like the okra a lot.
It was super
good.
fresh, not gummy on the inside.
Not
the,
greasy or too crispy.
Not greasy. The breading was just on the okra, so there was no, like, you know how sometimes you feel like the breading's like a fake casing outside and the okra's kind of shriveled up inside?
Right.
Did not feel like this at all. In fact, these
Like
pieces were
dusted.
big and they were fresh. You could tell. So, love that. The service is fast. We got our food out there. Oh, and everybody gets a biscuit or cornbread choice whenever you do that. So, I go
toast.
biscuit. You go bread. Right?
I went biscuit today.
You went biscuit and you went cornbred.
Yeah, but I don't eat it. I got valuable real estate, even though there's a lot of real estate.
no room
it's
for bread
valuable.
to get
Yeah,
sucked
Nathan
up.
says he goes toast every time.
Straight up
Do you
toasted
go-
water.
now-
He said he's toast.
I'm kind of the same way. They will give it to me. I will eat a small piece of the cornbread. I usually do cornbread, oddly enough, there when I
Okay.
go. But it's like, come on, you got focus on the most important things on the table. You can
the
get
stuff I
cornbread.
ordered.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. The special stuff.
If you were going to have to go to the snack bar tomorrow and you had a completely open day, would you go breakfast or lunch? Or would you order
now-
breakfast
now
We're
or
taking
lunch?
questions here on
Okay.
Street Circle
You
Drive.
got excited when Moose was talking about the breakfast,
Yes.
so I think you have a.
I tend to. I don't have a set pattern when I go there.
Sure.
I don't go much. I'll go several times in a year. Just exposed our kids to it not too long ago, which was kind of
Raise 'em right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Start them off early there. When the first several times I ever went there, I did breakfast.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively.
Yeah.
The grits. I remember the grits being awesome.
Yeah, they're fantastic. They're my favorite.
So
Grits,
it
cheese
feels like a
grits.
breakfast place, right? It feels like you're
Yeah.
supposed to order breakfast there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But still can eat the salad
yes.
bar for breakfast,
But-
I think.
But part of it's determined, the last couple times I've gone, I've done like pure veggie plate. Fried okra,
Nice.
mac attack,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
that type of thing.
Yes.
I was this close going veggie
That's a
plate
good.
today.
That's a good
This
option
close.
though because they have some.
I
very
can't do the
fresh
meat
stuff.
and 3 like this Michael over here, but I just, give me a bunch of vegetables that I'm not going to necessarily make at home.
Well, you can have goals, in life to be the meat and 3 guy. It's all good to have goals. We
Suddenly very quiet.
Guys should be your goal.
Double meeting 3.
yeah.
Now you're talking.
It was, like I said, I ordered a beef stew, black-eyed peas, okra, and had the carrot salad, which, ignore the boys,
It's
carrot
good.
salad is
I agree.
fabulous.
I've had it. It is good.
Since Chick-fil-A stopped serving it and whatnot, then this is the place to get it. It's super fresh, homemade. However, all of this was still under $9. And that's a fresh, home-cooked. I mean, you can tell that's being freshly made back there for you. So I give the entire experience a nice, probably 6 out of 7.
Nice.
I think you can get a little bit of anything you want there. I think it serves. My kids like to go there now as well because they can get a pancake at 4:00 in the afternoon if they want
help.
it. I mean, that type of stuff. They don't have a kids menu, but you don't need it when you serve breakfast food all day, and you can get a
Or meat 3. I mean, heck,
yeah,
you're talking about chicken.
or you can get fried chicken or
meatloaf,
mac and cheese. You
yeah,
can get
meatloaf.
a bowl of mac and
Chicken
cheese, and you're
livers.
good to go. Chicken livers and take it home to your
carrot
dog.
salad.
So yeah, there's just something for everybody. Like I said, I love the atmosphere there. It is old school. It is
Emphasis on.
old. Yes, it is. There's family pictures up, which I do enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
There's pictures of the grandkid in the back in his football jersey and pretty dated decor. But really, do they need anything
No.
fancier?
Just keep making the chicken like that.
Exactly.
It was interesting with the funeral programs that were taped to the wall, but hey, you get over certain things.
I missed that. What now?
So at the checkout counter, they will memorialize.
It's a family place. I mean,
it is. It is operated, down now from the people
Right.
that started it.
Generation.
Now
Sure.
have that. So one of the actual owners, his picture's hanging up right over the
Okay.
checkout
Yeah, I got
counter,
you.
right?
I remember that.
Yeah, a big picture of it. But
Right.
there are some funeral pamphlets. The little white piece of paper you get folded in half
Yeah.
at a funeral when you
There are
walk
a
in.
couple
Yeah.
taped up on the
There's a
wall.
couple taped up
Probably go
next to
there
the
a lot.
register.
I'm
Owners.
sure
It's just,
From the
don't know
or
if they're
from
necessarily
like
bring your
Michael
funeral
going there
program
every
in here
day.
and get
Or
a free
maybe-
2 pieces
from
of salad.
I was
the
about to
weekly
say.
chicken liver orders.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no telling.
Like, can I aspire to that?
It might be if you're like a regular.
Yes, that's what I'm wondering.
I mean, I don't know. Again, goals are good. We encourage that here.
I need to have a legacy somewhere beyond these
Absolutely.
2 children I'm
and you
raising.
know what? This place has been here 70 years. It's not going
That's
anywhere.
impressive.
So I agree. 70 years is pretty spectacular.
Again, I hope I make it 70 years.
I hope I can do anything for 70 years. Like, I don't know. I think it's pretty amazing. I think Hickory's lucky to have it.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be quite the Hickory High hangout back in the day for the
really?
kids. Oh yeah, like
sure.
I had a cheerleading coach in high school that went to Hickory High, and she was just like, "That's what we did. You went out there. They had people that came out to your car and took your order, and then would bring it back out to you. So I mean, it was cruising back in the day. That's what people did. Yeah, so it was it's just I think it's a cool memory to go there with somebody that's been going there for years too.
You should take cheerleaders back there.
After the
And
alumni
just,
game, right?
I could see a whole thing going on now.
Hey, listen, I went to Fred T. Ford County School. We didn't venture over to the
that's what I
city
wondered.
side.
Powerful
Okay.
subbies.
Yeah. So we're
That's what I was wondering.
yeah. We didn't go that route. So we anyway, I think
You're at
we enjoyed our
Wayno's
thing.
and
We
things.
really encourage people to did you say Wayno's?
Yes. That
Don't
was
get me
your
started
It's
hang
a
on
different
Wayno's.
podcast.
Don't get me started on Wayno's. That's one of our next review spots. Anyway.
Oh, sweet.
No, it would be awesome though. So we encourage you to visit the snack bar, First Avenue.
Definitely.
Pretty hard to miss. There's a Dairy Queen on the way to there too. Just in case you were curious for dessert afterwards. That's about it. You guys
That's
got
it.
anything else?
I do. I'd like to thank the Sock Factory for sponsoring our podcast again.
You got that right.
Yeah, for sure. We couldn't do it without
Waiting
them.
for my first pair.
Yeah, go to their website,
McNally's.
thesockfactory.com. Check out their 3 lines of socks. They've got Crazy Compression, William Tucker, and Fit Sock. All those are compression socks. They're great. Got some on now. Highly recommend going and checking those out. Mary Mark, you want to send us off?
Well, yeah, Nathan, thank you so much for being here. We really
Enjoyed it.
appreciate
Great.
it. CatawbaEDC.org.
That's yes. That's
Yes, it
Took me a
is.
second there. You mean
That-
a website?
Yes, that is the place. People want to know more. They can see some good information on there. There's also some neat little facts and stats on there to share with everyone. But we appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. It was great. I do want to go to the food tour that you're trying to do.
Yes. We're going to have like a group going. Yeah.
Traveling.
Yes.
Well, I'll let you know when the next one is.
You're gonna
I think
have
it'd be
like
great.
15 people show up and like, it's 6 out of 7 stars.
Yeah, it's catching on. Yes.
And maybe if we bring a certain number of people, then I won't have to pay.
You won't have to pay for
$20
2 meals.
for buying 6 meals for me.
Nice.
You did notice he threw out his own rating system. He said 12 out of 7 at one point.
Well, that means it's really good.
Really good. It's like 200% good.
It's a watered down rating system at that point.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's
I'll be the judge
110%,
of that.
don't worry.
I'm sorry, y'all making fun of me already?
No,
Okay.
we're just here to close up the show. Just wanted to say thanks to everybody for listening. And again, be sure to check out the rest of our shows over on themesh.tv and on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We've got all kinds of good stuff out there. I'll be posting pictures later of our food adventures, as I always do. And we hope that you will join us next time on Street Circle Drive.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.